Real attraction is not a puzzle. A woman who wants you in her life makes it possible for you to be in her life. She makes the door easy to walk through. When a man has to analyze every response, calculate every text, wonder if he should reach out again or wait another day, he's not reading mixed signals. He's finding hope in silence because the silence is too painful to accept. I've been that man. I sat with my phone and watched a conversation go cold and told myself, she's probably just busy. She's dealing with something. She'll come back around. She just needs time. She didn't need time. She needed nothing from me. And the longer I waited, the more I built a story around her that had nothing to do with who she actually was. I was in love with the version of her I created when she stopped responding. That's not connection. That's projection. And if you let it, it will leave you emotionally exhausted and broken down. But here's what nobody told you. A woman who actually wants you doesn't look comfortable around you. She looks unsettled. There's friction, something slightly off that you can't quite name. That feeling you've been misreading as rejection, that is the signal. Most men aren't failing to read women. They're failing to accept what they're actually seeing. And those are two completely different problems with two completely different solutions. One is a skill gap. The other is something deeper, something most men never confront. And until you understand the difference, you will keep walking away from women who wanted you to stay. She mentions another guy, casually, watching your reaction out of the corner of her eye. My friend Jake took me to this restaurant last week. It was amazing. She's not telling you about Jake because she wants Jake. She's telling you about Jake because she wants to see what you do with that information. Does your energy shift? Do you suddenly get quieter, try to compete, ask too many questions about Jake? Or do you just not move? The man who stays completely unbothered, not because he's suppressing it, but because he's genuinely secure, that man becomes more attractive in that moment than any compliment could make him. Because she just found out you don't scare easily. And that matters to her more than she'll ever admit out loud. Not always a long message. Sometimes it's nothing. A meme, a random observation, something that happened that made her think of you. There's no question attached. Men look at this and think, she's just being friendly. Maybe. But ask yourself this. How many people does she randomly send things to throughout her day? Because if that list is short and you're on it, that's not nothing. That's your name living in her head. That's a woman finding excuses to be in your orbit without the risk of being obvious about it. She's interested, but she's not ready to expose that yet. 3 weeks ago, you mentioned something small, and she brings it up today, like it was nothing. Didn't you say you used to do that? Men do this too when we're interested in someone. We remember, we store details, we replay conversations. When a woman does this, it means the same thing. You are being listened to more closely than she let on. The details of you were being filed somewhere in her mind without her consciously deciding to do it. That's not friendship, that's interest. This one breaks men. Everything was going well. Then suddenly shorter responses, a little distant, and you spiral, trying to figure out what you did. Here's what actually happened. She got close to you emotionally, and it scared her. Not because she doesn't like you, because she does. Withdrawal is often a woman recalibrating after she felt more than she intended to feel. The man who chases the warmth back texts more, tries harder, gets anxious, confirms her fear that she's in control of his emotions, and that kills it. The man who simply stays the same, consistent, unhurried, unbothered, forces her to come back to find out if he even noticed she left. Most of the time, she comes back. Now, if you are genuinely confused about whether a woman is interested in you, that confusion is usually your answer. Not always, but usually. Because when a woman wants you to know, some version of you knows. Attraction has a quality to it that's hard to fake and hard to miss. Here's the real shift. The man who doesn't need the signal, who assumes he's worth being interested in, who moves through the interaction without his self-worth on the line, that man creates a completely different dynamic. She's working to read him now. That's the reversal. Not every woman will want you. That's not a failure. That's reality. But the ones who do, you'll stop missing them because you won't be looking at the obvious anymore. Majority of you guys don't realize how much small social habits affect attraction. I dropped a video earlier breaking down a few social habits that quietly make you way more attractive. Links in the description if you want to check it out. I'll see you in the next one.